With some of the transfer rumours going around and the fees involved with them, you may be forgiven for thinking that Ipswich Town have an endless pot of money. But like every other club in Europe, they are limited as to what they can spend by financial fair play. But what is that, and how does it affect the Blues?
We are going up! We are going up! So we are going up! We are going up! So we are going up!
Good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on whenever you're watching this. My name is Harvey Bell, an Ipswich Town supporting content creator on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe as well. To start with, it is important to know that financial fair play can take many different names. So whether it be profit and sustainability or sustainability rules, it does mean largely the same thing. But its application through the different leagues in Europe can differ somewhat. It is mainly the same regardless, but for the sake of today's video, we're going to talk about how it works in the Premier League, because that's where Ipswich Town are. And we're going to break it down by what it is, how effective it is, and what it means for Ipswich Town going into the forthcoming season. So, what is it? Effectively, financial fair play is a measure put in place to ensure that clubs only spend within their financial means and their expenditure never exceeds their income. In the Premier League, clubs are only allowed to lose a certain amount of money before being in breach of these rules, and the golden figure to remember is £105 million across 3 seasons. It is a little bit more confusing than that, however, because of that £105 million, £90 million of it has to come through the purchasing of new shares, rather than the owner just pumping more money into the club. And although that is a little bit wordy, effectively what it means is a club can only lose £15 million of its own money across 3 seasons. The rules at first do appear quite strict, and strictly speaking, £15 million in today's football market really doesn't seem all that much. But there are certain expenditures that can be taken away from that overall figure, including improvements to the infrastructure and projects centred around youth and community. On top of this, and beyond the healthy figure received for TV revenue, there are so many different ways in which football clubs can make money, whether it be through shirts, ticket sales, general merchandise sales, or even selling their players. And really, that's why the bigger commercial clubs are able to splash out a little bit more, because they're earning more from these external revenues, which increases their ability to go out and spend. An owner of a Premier League club could theoretically have an endless pot of money, but the amount to which they're allowed to spend is directly dictated by the revenue of the club. But how effective is it? Well, to be effective, it first needs to be enforced. And of course, it's been very big in the news over the last couple of years in regard to Manchester City's 115 charges. And it remains to see what sort of punishment they receive if they are, of course, found guilty. But the punishments for breaching the rules largely depends on how far they've been breached and how the club goes about securing the funds to balance the books. For instance, if a club goes over the 15 million buffer across 3 seasons, but they are able to secure the funds to balance the books, then they're technically not in breach of the rules. But if they're not able to secure the funds, then they have to draw up a 2-year financial plan to outline to the league how they plan to secure the funds in the future, which is often done through the ownership buying up more shares. The bigger issue lies if a club exceeds the £105 million buffer, and it's then that you'll start to see the heavy fines and the points deductions coming into place, as you're seeing with the likes of Everton and Nottingham Forest at the minute, albeit those cases are a lot more complex and they are being heavily contested, but that is the general gist of it. Of course, there are loopholes that clubs can try to exploit, like Chelsea when they signed Moises Caicedo tried to spread the transfer fee across 8 years. But the Premier League have now stepped in to say that a transfer fee can only be spread across 5 years. I'm sure that there are clubs actively looking for different loopholes to try and take advantage of, but I'm even more sure that the Premier League will meet them with a fix. As I said earlier in the video, the rules are designed in such a way that those who earn more money can go out and spend more money. And I guess in many ways that is fair and how it should be. But the issue I have, and I suspect many other people have, is the fact that it does create greed. We have seen over the last few years especially a rise in the price of football, whether it be shirts or ticket sales. Clubs are wise to the fact that the die-hard fans are going to go to games, they are going to buy the shirts regardless of what it costs. And it's a vicious circle really, because the more the fans keep buying at the high prices, the further the clubs are going to think that they can increase it. So yes, financial fair play is a very good way of ensuring sustainability for a club and ensuring fair play across the league, but perhaps not effective in having the best interest of the fans at heart. Although that is just my opinion on the matter, so leave down in the comments what you think about it. But in any case, let's look at what it means for Ipswich Town. In short, it means that the £4.5 million record transfer fees paid out for Matteo Serini and Herideson are going to be blown out of the water this summer. Or at least you'd suspect so. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know exactly how much the club received for gaining promotion to the Premier League, but with the increase in TV rights, general branding rights, I would suspect that it's a massive figure, probably somewhere in the hundreds of millions. More than this, Town will now, of course, fall into the Premier League buffer of £105 million, which is vastly more than the Championship, which was believed to be somewhere just under £40 million. And Mark Ashton has spoken to us no end as to how many shirts were sold last year, memberships, club merchandise, and Portman Road was pretty much sold out near enough every game last season. So from the outside looking in, you'd expect that the club are in a really good position to go out and spend if they so wish to do so this summer. I obviously trust the board and the CEO to know more about this than I do. But one thing that I really hope is that we do try and build sustainably, because whilst we might have a lot of spending power, that can and does have a tendency to backfire. Whether that be points deductions, fines, or ending up with players on massive contracts that ultimately aren't delivering. Not that I suspect that to happen, of course. It's paramount that we meet the needs of the forthcoming season without harming the seasons to come. And I do truly believe that we have a board in place with the best intentions to deliver exactly that. So I guess, although we don't really know who's going to be signing until they're stood at the training ground with the shirt and they've signed the contract, we do still have every right to get caught up in the excitement of a transfer window and look forward to what is hopefully going to be a really exciting era for the club. Personally, I do love our current squad, but with players being released, loanees returning to their parent clubs, and just generally making a step up to a new division, additions are necessary and are inevitable. In fact, I did post a video a couple of weeks ago about players that I'd like to see come to Portman Road. So if you're not extremely bored of me yet, do consider checking that out as well. But before I say goodbye on this video, I would just like to direct you over to an article on Sky Sports by Ollie Cooper, which was of massive help to me in creating this video. A really useful article, which I'll put a link to down in the description. Otherwise, that's about it from me. Leave a like on the video. Comment down below who you'd like to see Town sign and if you think financial fair play rules are fair. And until then, I will see you in the next one.